Today, I'd like to share with you how to create a simulation in individual mode. And so here I've created a worksheet that I'm going to use for my simulation, and it has some columns like the time, the amount, additional dose information. We're going to give 6 additional doses on a 24-hour interval. And then I've also included an empty COBS column as well. I've sent this to a model here and done some initial setup with the structure of the model. I've got it in out of population mode. It's in individual mode. And so let's just go ahead and apply some mappings here. So my dose amount is going to map to AA, which is the name of the compartment that receives the dose. And I only have one row in my worksheet, but I'm going to sort by ID. So if I want to, I can add additional rows there. A couple of things we have to do. First of all, I need to go to the input options and turn on my additional dose information. So I'll do that. And I'm going to say my delta time comes from the column called interval. And when I stop typing, the error red text goes away. I'm going to give it the name of the dose point, which is AA, and the amount is going to be in a column called amount. Okay, so I've got all my multiple dose information added. And I'm going to go to run options and set it in simulation mode. Now there are 2 ways I can do this. One is to set some number of points and how far do I want to go out? Let's say I want to go to 120 hours. And I can say, what is my Y variable? This has to be a variable from the model. And since the central compartment concentration is called C, I'm going to put that in as my Y variable. And then the other way you can do this is you can use what's called a simulation table. And for the simulation table, we can specify whatever times we want. And one of the things you can do here is you can give it the sequence function, where you can say, I want to start at time 0. I want to go out to 120 hours, and I want to do it every half hour, 0.5. Okay, so that will give me all those times from 0 to 120. I can report dosing events on here by giving it the dose point name. And again, the variable that I want to report is concentration. And I could report other variables if I wanted to. All right, so I'm going to create this simulation table. Then the other thing I need to do is to go into my fixed effects and give it some parameters, which would come from a previous model. So let's just say that we have a volume of 50, clearance of 5, and a Ka of 2. And be more precise numbers, but let's just do it with this one right here. All right, so then if I execute this model, it'll just take a second to run. Setting up the job. It's done. And I have 2 different things here that I can look at. One is the individual simulation plot here, and I can see here are my doses leading up to steady state with that simulation. And then I have the table which I created. So I have a simulation worksheet, which is the one that's automatically generated. And I have table 101 that I can use here. And I can create my own plot out of this if I want to. All right, so that is how to do a simulation. And the nice thing about this is that I can come and add new rows to my spreadsheet and say at time 0, I'm going to try, let's use 10,000. And we're going to give, again, 6 additional doses at, let's say it's a 12-hour. Let's do 12 additional doses on a 12-hour increment. Okay, so we'll do that. And I can re-execute. And it's done. And let's just look at the individual simulation plot here. And here's my second simulation where I have doubled the dose and have given it twice as often. So I have 4 times. All right, so that is a simple simulation in individual mode. We also have a tip video on how to do a simulation in population mode. So I hope that was useful, and we'll see you at the next video.